Hey, good morning or good afternoon, everybody. This is Emil Chen from Hong Kong. So I'm very glad to be invited as a speaker in today's session. Supposedly is face-to-face plus online. I would love to see or some of you face-to-face in the campus of the Polytechnics University. But due to some core members' health issue, so for safety measure, we change it to online. It's a regret, but doesn't really matter because I want to reach out and talk to you. So if you have any question, please raise your hand while I'm speaking. I will try my very best to answer a question right away, being more interactive. But if you would like to listen first, so please stay. I will try to keep my sharing for around an hour. And then the rest of the time, I will talk actively with all of you. I think most of you are from Hong Kong, but some of you are, in other cities. So without further ado, I would like to start my section. So here, I'm Yu Chen from Hong Kong, the founding chairman of the Association of Cloud and Mobile Computing Professionals. These association was founded 10 years ago. So in the past few days, we just had our 10 years conference in Asia World Expo. So we kept all the recording in Facebook. So that if you are interested in cloud and mobile computing, Web3, and art tech, biotech, and the other application on the technology. So feel free to go to our official page in Facebook to listen to. We are invited around 30 experts from the industry, from Google to Alibaba to ZA Bank and Star Bank, and all well-known companies executive to share their opinions. And then I also founded another association. On the left, you can see the Hong Kong Digital Finance Association. We use this association to drive the adoption of digital finance, particularly in Hong Kong. And you might agree with me that the development of Fintech in Hong Kong is a bit, or relatively slower than the other countries or cities, because we were too successful on the adopting technology 20 years ago, but we are still using the same technology until now. So we need to enhance the situation by replacing some of the infrastructures. So thanks for, once again, the Google Developers Student Clubs in the Hong Kong Polytechnics University. With you, I'm a guest lecturer to teach the industry via Capital, one of the department, to do these transferring the IP or whatever assets being under the research of the university to the industry. So here is my first slide. Talk about my introduction. Unlike using the usual way to talk about who am I by wordings, I would like you to Google me. Okay, like this is hashtag on the left. So this is me, Emil Chen. And somebody call me Emil Chen. If is the German way is Emil, the American way, British way is Emil. So I was a banker, as you can see on the left. So I start as a system operator, then programmer, then the head of a department of a bank called BNLB, in which I worked for 17 years until the company moved away from Asia. So by the time I left the bank, I was the head of IT and operations, Asia Pacific region. So I was a regional head, technically, of a bank, international bank, in 2000 since until 2010. So I left the bank and I decided not to work for any companies, but started up my own one for a short period of time. Then I realized that, rather than doing business, owning my own business is not as interesting than helping other people to set up their business. So that's why you can see I'm, you can see these Cyberport. So I'm now the a mentor or the advisors to many startups, fintech startups, particularly in Cyberport. And I'm also a one of the veteran committee member for these the incubation programs in Cyberport. So I also, helping quite a few associations to promote fintech. So like Smart City Consortium and the rest. So you might see that, I'm not only like an ordinary executive in a bank. So this is where this is in the entrance of the Radio Hong Kong. So these are the 35 years ago. She's one of the artists. So I'm a photographer. Okay, I'm still taking photography for artists, but that's my hobby, and I'm a semi professional. So I playing tennis and golf, and I'm a keen tennis player, keen golf player. So that I can practice myself to deal with stress. So with this experience, I can perform while I'm in high tension. So that's why I can give public speeches easily because of these training. So I'm also I was a guitar player. I cannot handle it anymore. I stopped playing for more than 2 decades. So this is a official photo where I took a new role in City University as an adjunct professor teaching fintech for senior executives. So based on these experience, I would like you to know who am I, and then these are the findings that I'm going to share with you in the upcoming hours, 1 hour. Okay, here we are. So today's the agenda, I bring in 4 topics, subtopics. The first one is the marriage of fintech and finance and technology. Okay, they used to be independent. Finance, that is usually from the banks, the trading company. They use finance, or they are finance. And the other one is technology. So when I started my career, okay, we are the specialists to help a company to do business faster, more accurate, or cheaper sometimes. But now there's a marriage. So the offspring of the two industry is a new beast. It's not finance only, it's not technology only. They combine the two and they make the world doing the same business in a quite different way. So I will give you some brief history how they happen. And then very confusing lately, people mix up different classes of digital assets. So I will give you a brief fundamental this explanation of what digital assets are. Then a new term came into the picture around 5 years ago. It's a central bank digital currency. So the bank is playing the same game like the crypto. So they are engaging the technology demonstrated by Bitcoin, for example, and they are adopting it and using it for the traditional banking industry. So then now we have a regulatory trend. So you might aware that SFC in Hong Kong, the regulator of security trading, has just launched a new regime to regulate digital asset trading in Hong Kong. So if all of these are happening, so the last section I talked about, digital transformation, of everybody, even an individual. We have to learn the new tool, the new way to do business, or even for day-to-day life. So the most importantly, I think we talk about the future. So that's why what's the road ahead. So that's my structure today. So if we have to talk about fintech, these are the buzzwords. We came into our eyes day to day. In the past, nobody talked about metaverse, Web3, GameFi, DeFi, NFT, RegTech, ArtTech, stablecoin, and of course CBDC. So I will try my very best in this short 1 hour to let you understand what actually they are and how they will influence our future. First, when I realized that around 2-3 years ago, the Hong Kong Monetary Authority changed their very conservative way to regulate the industry. They launched a campaign called Fintech 2025. So that means by 2025, there's a 2-3 years time frame. They want the banks in Hong Kong to go fintech. All banks go fintech, and they realize that we have to do something which is future proofing by introducing central bank digital currency. And also the regulator realized that without a proper infrastructure to store data, the bank cannot use AI because AI engine required a sea of information so that the robots can be trained to understand what actually the situation is, and then can do better prediction at the end. And also, the regulator realized that there are a shortage of talent, and they want to expand these talent pool. Then the last one, they realized that only helping the banks out is not a solution. Surrounding the banks, we must create an ecosystem so that they help each other and they can transform the banking industry into a higher level. So this is the campaign they are doing. So I think in 2 years' time, there might be a report and telling us, the progress. Good to understand that the regulator, the Hong Kong government is moving ahead, but you have to understand that the market keep changing. So I would like you to draw, attention to what we are focusing on, particularly for the economy sector. In the past, maybe 30, 40 years ago, stage one, or even 100 years ago, we focusing on consuming the natural resources, logging, fishing, mining. So the ancient countries, they become a modern country by introducing the way how to do hunting, how to do fishing properly. Stage two, we are producing. Then we have manufacturers. We have the mills. We do construction. We do water supply, power supply. So the leading countries, they must have these kind of infrastructure. Here come the stage 3. So service industry, like what we proud of in Hong Kong. You know, we have a very good financial service industries, right? So rather than just manufacturing, we do merchandising. So that's why we call Hong Kong the super connector. And we have a very good accounting system, and then we do a very good data processing. So this is a stage that Hong Kong turned itself from a second-tier city to a first-tier city. But now it is just, the third stage. You can see the stage 4 that we are having a bottleneck because we want to connect by e-commerce. So the world-class e-commerce company is Alibaba, Amazon, JD, and the rest, but not in Hong Kong. The bank, HSBC, used to be the top 10 company, not only the top 10 banks in the world on maybe 20 years ago, but now on e-commerce, which we suppose to be very strong, but none of the leading cross-border e-commerce company presence in Hong Kong. So social media, you name it, Facebook, Google, TikTok, they are not Hong Kong company anymore. So P2P lending, no, we do have some, but not P2P. Carpooling, or in short form, is the Uber, Didi in China. It's illegal in Hong Kong. So in such a case, we got a limitation by transforming from stage 3 to stage 4. So while most of the countries are transforming to stage 4, in the digital economy, on the right, you can see, we are moving further. So as you see, we talk about metaverse. So in the metaverse, it is about immersive. So in the virtual world, we are looking for an immersive experience of doing something that we used to do in the traditional world. So we are moving there, but I'm not saying that we are already there at all. So like the Sandbox, Decentraland, Roblox, Meta, they try to create their own version of metaverse, but it got stuck at the moment. But like the early internet, it got stuck at the very beginning too. But it doesn't mean that it will disappear. So to me, I believe that if Hong Kong and China and Asia and the rest of the world can work together by connecting the new immersive world together, I think everybody will benefit from it. But on the other hand, if they are like these pioneer projects, they want to take control of their own version of metaverse, I don't think it will be an easy job. So in such a case, I want you to change your focus a little bit about the history of how we develop today's internet world. Before 1994, where internet was not there, whichever company, whichever city, they can take advantage over the IT or technology implementation, they will be the leader. So the banks, the countries, they have very good technology companies taking the lead. So like IBM, like Microsoft, like HSBC, Citibank, they are the leader because they are the owner of these supercomputers. Then when internet came into the picture from 1994 till a few years back, we have all those internet players like Alibaba, like Amazon, like Facebook, you know, and they are the leaders. They earn most of the money by introducing social interaction, e-commerce, self-publishing, personal communications. For example, Tencent. So because of these, there's an issue because the money all going from the traditional economy to this digital economy, and they're all mostly owned by these technology companies. So the countries, general public, we are looking for something. They are going to look for a how to say more balanced economy. So in such a case, after 2015, when Ethereum, DeFi is introduced, we have a blockchain era. So blockchain provide two promises. The first one is decentralization of trust. So if I don't trust Alibaba, what can I do? You know, but e-commerce in China, they are almost dictated by Alibaba. So what can I do? I want something else. I want the trust to be decentralized. That means the community can take part. And the other one is the value flow without intermediaries. So Alibaba, JD, Amazon, Facebook, they are all intermediate party. So if they switch off the power, we lost everything in the early stage of metaverse. So we need something new. So we need technology to replace the trust from the sizable companies. We need technology to create a new environment that we can trade, we can talk, we can transfer money via these you know, between countries. For example, you know, like the statements of your the students club. We want to move money across country, not by the, you know, intermediate party, so that we can send money in a cheaper manner. From say, for example, the parents, they work in a developed country and they want to send the money to their children living in the third world. So while the money is sending in the internet era, we still need PayPal, we still need Visa, Master, and Union Pay. But in the blockchain era, there's a chance if you know, there's a agency in the developed country where they can accept the movement of funds via Bitcoin or USDT, and they can convert the money back to fiat in that village. That would be perfect. Of course, there are other issues, but it's not today's coverage. But what we want to do is to use technology where the people, you know, the community, they switch on their mining machines, and the mining machine not only for what we want. The mining machine is there to move the money in a trustless manner. Okay, so trustless means that we can use a new trust system with the tech power. In such a case, a brief history of internet. So when I start using the internet is around 1992, 1993, the early stage of it. It's like CompuServe, something like American Online. And even earlier than that, we have a bulletin board. I use modem to dial in, very slow. So in such a case, I can only send and receive texts. wording, so email, in short, I can send message in a very fast and cheap way, thanks to internet, in which I can transfer information without an intermediary party. I don't have to pay a huge amount of money to them, and they cannot stop me from sending and receiving something, because in the internet, there's no a regulator, there's no control body. So if everybody agree on that protocol, and we install the hardware called a router, and then I connect my line using the service provider, we can send and receive not only text in the later stage, images, programs, and then videos. Now we have a Netflix, we have YouTube. So internet is a system where there's no intermediary party, no operator, in which we can transfer information freely. But there's the limitation. Even though a file can be transferred, but the original file can still be kept by the sender. So I cannot transfer any value, like a photo from one machine to the other machine, by giving up the ownership. So we need something extra. So in the internet world, I need an intermediary party like PayPal to move money across, like 10 cents for the Red Podcast in China to move over. I still need an internet company, or the banks, of course. So with the introduction of blockchain, in which also is nobody administer it. So if we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum. So as long as everybody agree on something and follow these obligation, or by reward system, of course, they want to do mining, they will switch on the machine all the time, then we can move money across without intermediary party. So since the introduction of Bitcoin, we can transfer value at the same manner as the old internet. But on top, we can send money, we can execute smart contract, we can maintain patents, like the ownership of a song, the ownership of an art piece across without intermediate parties. And now, move over, we can transfer asset, digital asset, or the asset back to a security token today. So internet is the fundamental introduction of the blockchain world. So the blockchain is an extension, to me, to the internet, in which we can move value without intermediate parties, and under a new trust system. So people keep talking about Web 1.0, 2.0, 3.0. So I think you are familiar with this one. So the 1.0 is the old one, like what I said in 1990 something. A sizable company, they can host a server in which the general public can pull data from it. 2.0, is already 30 years old in my eyes, or 20 something at least, where we are using social media and the rest to move data across. But the limitation, as I mentioned, most of the data are not owned by the general public. It's owned by the internet giant. We need something more in which the general public, the community, or in some countries, the government can take back some controls. So you might think that the government might be, the socialism. No, the government, including European Union, they are they set a law called DMA, Digital Market Act, to take back the advantage from the digital companies in Europe, because if a company like Amazon, if a company like Google, they are too big, and they can bypass the traditional law to do a lot of activities that the government cannot take control, cannot regulate. So there are new sets of law, even in the European Union, to do something to move the ownership or to take back some regulation rights from the internet giants. So Web 3.0 to me is not there yet, but because it's not that simple to be implemented. But there are some verticals like Bitcoin. The general public, they all follow this idea of Bitcoin. They can maintain a community in which they can share, they can transfer value across. And some countries, they also introducing CBDC, central bank digital currency. I will talk about it later on. So on this slide, you understand the meaning of web, the development of web. But the term of Web 3 and Web 3.0 is quite confusing. And then they are in Chinese. When we translate Web 3.0 into Chinese, they said it is the third generation of the internet. To me, it's completely wrong, because web is just a part of the internet. We can maintain the internet without web. Of course, web is a critical part of the internet, but in the internet, it's not only web. Email is not web. FTP is not web. So I do not agree that in some aspect, the Hong Kong government translated Web 3 as the third generation of the internet. So to me, Web 3 is a new generation of the web, but Web 3.0 is a new generation of the Web 1.0, 2.0. But the term Web 3 is something new. It is one of the founders of Ethereum. They said, if we have to do something in the internet without the Big Brother, we not only moving information across, there should be a financial system that we are moving value across, money across, or digital money across. So the name Web 3 was coined because of decentralized finance. And they are a big area overlapping with Web 3.0. But to me, Web 3 can be a extension to the internet in which we are moving value across. Okay, this is the true meaning of Web 3. So if you are, because I do not have a time to talk about it in a structural way, do your own research and look for the differences between Web 3 and Web 3.0 in the English world. And then particularly in Hong Kong, don't mix up the third generation of internet with Web 3 or Web 3.0. So this is the diagram. So I wrote an article in Chinese and I translated it into my Medium to talk about, what actually these three terms are. So feel free to look for the solutions, the explanation here. So BTC, Bitcoin, is a challenge to the US dollar at the beginning in 2009 when the white paper was published. They said US dollar keep printing, under the QE, the money. I don't trust it. Then they want to introduce something with a limited supply by design using the algorithm. So I don't want something we don't want something to be issued by the central bank. I don't trust the central bank anymore. It has to be, I trust the mining machine because they are the machine keep running. And then there's an algorithm. So I trust the general public because there are a lot of mining machines. So nobody can hack in. Then it will be more secure than the central bank. So that's why we treasure decentralization, not centralization. So it's here how the Bitcoin comes. So when the Bitcoin comes, what happened? A lot of companies they come to test the water, but at the very beginning, the senior executive in US, in Hong Kong, in Europe, they keep saying that crypto worth nothing. So don't trust it because it's there's no underlying asset. So they face a lot of objection. But since 2020, to me, there's the landscape or the general acceptance of this cryptocurrency changed. Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, even the Visa Master, this company, they accepted it, and they are trading crypto, and then there are also Bitcoin ETF in New York Stock Exchange. So DeFi's market cap increased in a great deal in 2021. These are the area, these are the time that Hong Kong is losing its edge. You might not aware that Hong Kong was one of the leading crypto center in the world, world class. FTX was a Hong Kong company, and BitMEX was a Hong Kong company, and even USDT, Tether, was a Hong Kong company. They all founded from Hong Kong. Unfortunately, the regulators in Hong Kong, the Hong Kong government, different regulators and departments, they do not understand crypto, and we lost that opportunity at the moment to maintain our competitiveness. So a lot of companies move away from Hong Kong, particularly last year. And one thing you got to pay attention, while the Western world, they are embracing cryptocurrency. As you know, China, they ban crypto at all, except Hong Kong, okay? In Hong Kong and Macau, we can do crypto to a certain extent. But the whole mainland China, forget it. But they do something interesting. They are introducing central bank digital currency, so namely ECNY, and they also using this in the Olympic, Winter Olympic arena. So I will let you know what actually these CBDC is, and then I want you to understand this, and I want you to understand it is not only China. The rest of the world, they are playing the same game, but only because China is a fast mover and it draws a lot of attention only. So I want you to understand a little bit more about metaverse. As I said, when there's a dream, we need something to let people to focus on it so that we understand, if we have a common dream, then we can realize that dream together. So the term metaverse wasn't new. It came from a book of science fiction called Snow Crash. I haven't read this book out, but through the explanation, I understand that it's talk about a young guy who is not performing at all in the real world, but once he got an equipment, came into the so-called metaverse. So Neil Stephenson called this world metaverse in this book. So once this guy entered into the metaverse, there's no restriction of his own background, and he became eventually a hero in the metaverse. And the terms avatar also was invented in this book. So with the digital avatar of this character become a hero. So this is what I think how general public understand metaverse. But to me, I want you to understand this dream world. A few hundred years back in Europe, the youngsters also suffer from the same restriction because those era they are under the emperor, the kingdoms, you know. So a lot of the rulers they won't give chances to youngsters in the real world. So those era when cross county or countries travel started, they want to travel further to the new world. So Columbus, we have the other, you know, the long haul sailing exploration attracted a lot of youngsters to hop on the boat, the ship, so that they can go to the new world to look for their new development. So the book talk about the metaverse, but technically in the past few hundred years, including my grandparent, my grandpa traveled all the way to America to be a gold miner. So mining technically, you know, is somewhere where we can realize our dream. So to me, the metaverse is a modern version of these exploration to the new world, looking for a new business, you know, from farming to mining. So some leading companies like this one called Roblox, they named themselves a metaverse company when they were listed in 2021 March. Their market cap increased a lot because they call themselves a metaverse company. And subsequently, a lot of companies, technology companies, they also call themselves metaverse company. Even Facebook changed the name into Meta, trying to capture this wave. So it turned out that at the peak of this, the market cap of Roblox ran all the way to 78 billion, and now it's went a little bit down. But this is how we play this metaverse game. But to me, metaverse is not a new world yet, because the immersive experience is hard to maintain. The equipment is quite expensive. Like you just released the one, the Apple goggle, so expensive, nobody can afford it. So to me, metaverse is not only a game platform. It's not only about VR, AR, or whatsoever. That's an entry point, perhaps, you know. To me, internet is not only a browser. Browser is just an entry point of the internet. So metaverse, for sure, we need a browser. For sure, we need the gaming environment or the VR, AR experience. But they are only one of the components. To me, the meaning of metaverse more on the other side. It is a environment that the virtual world and the reality merge to each other. So I can teleport myself from the virtual world to the reality, the actual world. So if I can move in and out from time to time, I can enter the virtual world to learn something. Then I gain a new knowledge and come back to the real world to experience it. Or I can invest something, you know, to the virtual world, and then I gain some value, and then I can transfer the value back to the real world. So this is what I believe that is a true metaverse. So for example, if I cannot drive the car easily, I got my license, but I want to enhance my driving skill. So I can have a simulator, which is in an immersive manner, with all the goggles, with the wheel. Then I can experience, you know, how to park a car properly, how to drive in high speed without, you know, high risk. Then I can practice it in the gaming environment, then if I gain my skill, I can transfer the knowledge back to the real world. So this, to me, metaverse is the place I can get in and get out, and I can transfer digital asset in and digital asset out. I can gain knowledge in, and then I can use the same knowledge in the real world. So I think in the next 3, 4, 5 years, whatever projects they can realize what I just describing about will be a successful one. So if there's a metaverse in which I can use my real world money to transfer into it, then that metaverse is also connectable to the other country. So in which my parents, my friends, the companies over there can get that digital assets out and convert it into traditional money. To me, it's also a place called metaverse, right? So this is my explanation, my version of the metaverse. So in the metaverse, there's one thing called NFT. The price went down a lot lately because of the regulatory situation, and I think it's overpriced a lot in 2021. But I do not think that it is the end of the NFT game. Like the .com, so in short, internet, when it was firstly introduced in roughly 2019, it rose a lot, in the first 10 years. Then after the financial crisis, go up and down, and then it go back down to the old price, the market cap. But lately, the internet business come back again. So I do believe that in the next maybe 2, 3, 4 years, NFT and the metaverse business will come back. If we believe in it, if we have to deal with a digital asset, different type of digital asset, the first thing we have to do is to distinguish Bitcoin from CryptoPunks and from CBDC, because they are all digital assets, but they are different. So there's a financial terms called asset class. So they are the same class. They are all assets, but they bear different attributes. So to me, there are two big types of digital assets called non-auditable digital currency and auditable digital currency. What is auditable? Like Bitcoin, like Ethereum, they are digital currency with a built-in audit engine. So you do not need a third party to audit whether the ownership is right, whether this Bitcoin is a real Bitcoin or not. Because as long as you have a wallet, and then as long as that wallet receives that Bitcoin, the Bitcoin is a real Bitcoin. So you do not have to ask the lawyer, you do not need a third party to authenticate whether this Bitcoin is for real, whether my ownership is true. Unlike this auditable digital currency, there are the traditional one, like PayPal, like Autobus. You need auditor, you and me need auditor, not us. But the system required the digital money to be audited from time to time. What if there's a programmer, they change the source scope and transfer a small fraction of the money to his own account? We cannot rely on the system itself to safekeep, the pool of the money. So we name this type of asset non-auditable digital currency. So they need traditional way to do audit. So that's why even though the type of assets are tokenized, like crypto punks, like Tether, USDT, they are not auditable digital currency. Of course, it is auditable. You know, the ownership of one USDT in your wallet is auditable, but the underlying asset is not auditable because it is stablecoin. Stablecoin means they honor the redemption of $1 if you present that USDT to them. But if they did not keep the money properly, like FTX in the banks or in the bookkeepers or in the vaults, it is not a auditable digital currency. So you still need an auditor, a third party, maybe the governors, maybe the regulators, to maintain the value of it. So I hope you have a basic understanding now. Why are these diagrams? So one big thing are crossing the tokenized digital asset to the general traditional one. Crossing the two is called CBDC 2.0. So China government already launched out in 10 regions in China, and Hong Kong dollar, they got a pioneer project to transforming the traditional money to the digital money. They are sitting between these non-auditable digital currency to this tokenized money. So I will give you a more detailed explanation of it, and so that you will think about the future in a clearer manner. As I said, a lot of countries has already implemented CBDC. So it's a diagram from these Gore Medici. They said on pilot, there's already Russia, China, they are rolling it out. And then some countries, they are interested, and then the active working group, they are talking about in Canada, in USA, in European Union. They are trying to create an environment, which is tailor-made for their own economic system. So CBDC is not only happening in China, in Russia, in South Africa, but it is a international movement. So for the third one, we talk about the trend. So as I mentioned, China is going to roll out her own version of a digital currency. So I would like you to understand all form of money, traditional money in particular, they need a carrier. Banknotes carrier is paper. They print it. It's also the printing technology. So if we have a good printing technology, if we have good quality of paper, it is a traditional way of tokenized money. But the old tokenized money is not paper, right? The old form of tokenized money is somewhat like this hermit crab. The crab without their own shell. Very smartly, they use somebody else left behind. They are using the shell as their own body. So the crab will grow from time to time. If they have to grow your own crab, it takes a long while and wastes a lot of energy. So very smartly, they just move into another shell, then they will enlarge. So for the transformation of money, you might be aware that from barter, it is not very practical because a hen cannot replace a cow with ease. So we need a intermediate form of value. So Asian China, very smartly, you carry shell as the carrier of money, because in the central China, with a distance to the seashore, shell, very beautiful color shell, which is light in weight, was the form of money for a long period of time. Then, because of the development of technology, help our ancestors to create vessels and vehicles, so people can move shell from the shore to the inland of China with ease. So the value of shell depreciate a lot. So because of this depreciation, we look for a alternate way, a new way to carry money. So from shell, we have the metal form of money. Then we have the printed form of money, and then we have banknotes. Then we have a magnetic card, EMV card. You can see it from time to time. Although at a very early stage, the transformation took 1,000 years, maybe 100 years here. And now it may be only a decade. We transform from the web payment to mobile payment, from one mobile payment to the other type of mobile payment, Apple Pay, Android Pay. So the time taking shorter and shorter. So now is a new era that the money is going to transform their carrier as if the hermit crab. What it is, the new carrier of money will be the Chinese CBDC. So these are the carrier. I will let you know this carrier later on. But before I go further, one piece of information you got to study is an entity called the Bank for International Settlements, BIS. You can Google it. BIS Money Flower is an international body. It's a club for all central banks over the world. So the researcher defined the features of money in 4 major forms. The first one is whether money is accessible by individual. Everybody can access it. The first one in red. The second one is whether money is electronic money. If it is not electronic, then the transaction has to be transacted face to face. If it is electronic, they can transact not only face to face, but also remotely. The third one is whether the money is a central bank issue. If the money is central bank issue, it's a legal tender. Then it will be safekept by the regulation in that country. The fourth one is whether money can be transacted in a peer-to-peer manner. A lot of money, like Octopus, which is not peer-to-peer, because the money can only transact by connected one link to the system. So without a card reader, we cannot transact money. Without the presence of Octopus, we cannot move money from one individual's wallet to the other individual. So across all features, you might see that the retail type of CBDC has all features among the 4. So the central government in China, they want to create something that you can transact without the presence of a bank, so that you can send and receive money on the aircraft. You can send and receive money in the deep end of a tunnel where there's no coverage of 3G, 4G, 5G. So this is the project, which is already launched out in China for, I think, 2.5 years. So these are the carrier at the moment. Some example, more than that. It can be an app, it can be a card, it can be a chain, keychain, or if you find that this card is insecure, like Autobus is insecure, you can add a fingerprint sensor scanner to the card. So these are the e-wallet because unlike printed money you put it into a physical wallet, but you can just keep the money, banknotes in bare hands. No, digital money cannot present without a e-wallet. So these are the example of the e-wallet that in the project in China. So this diagram I copied from European Central Bank. They said, oh, what if CBDC? CBDC, with CBDC, we can combat money laundering. So this is a diagram. Central bank issue the money, intermediaries. So those are banks, payment companies. So they can have a backdoor. Whatever they capture, whatever they lock down for the users, move money from one hand to the other hand, they will send the information to authority. Then in such a case, they cannot hide their tax payment away. They cannot do money laundering. Okay, they can. If in the old world, they can send printed money from one country to the other country without the knowledge of the regulator. But with central bank digital currency, because by design, there's a backdoor to detect whether the movement of money is subject to money laundering. So this is what the European Union drew, and of course, this is I use this one is because the Chinese platform they are all more or less the same like this one. So by design, the movement of money within China to the other countries is restricted. Already now there's a regulation, they are restricted in traditional way. I think the central government in China doing this to combat money laundering for the same purpose. So in the last, maybe give me 50 minutes to explain what will happen under this situation. To me, I was born in Hong Kong, educated in Hong Kong, and I work in Hong Kong. So I stay in Hong Kong most of the time with my elder family, older generation in Guangzhou. So I travel in the Greater Bay Area throughout the past almost 60 years. The government said that we have to link up these Greater Bay Area together. But I find that it is not that easy because we have 3 sets of legal systems. We have 3 sets of financial systems. We have 3 boundaries, 3 types of languages, 3 kinds of citizenship, 3 systems of personal ID, 3 systems of corporate registry, 3 systems of taxation, and more. So everything, 3 sets. So if we want to do business, forget it. We have to somewhat like doing business with a foreign country, despite the fact that it is a place called the Greater Bay Area. But in the area, we have 3 countries, somewhat like. So my dream is to combine this, not in the physical world, because you cannot change the regulation with it. What if there's a metaverse within this Greater Bay Area in which I can do business, where there's only one legal system, where there's only one financial system, where there's only one boundary? Then a lot of problems can be solved. So my version of metaverse is not about gaming. My version of metaverse is not about, that's a virtual piece of land. My version of metaverse is you try our very best to create a Greater Bay Area metaverse in which the central government is already trying to merge the 3 areas into one. So if this job can be carried out nicely, I do believe that we can create a metaverse for the Belt and Road countries, or to the Southeast Asia country. We can have a metaverse. If the metaverse can benefit people from moving money around by using one single set of system, or if there's a metaverse I can work logically, then the return can be sent to my beloved one, my parents, my children, without paying the intermediate party a heavy commission. I will work in that metaverse, but not in the real world, right? My dream is about realize these problems. Even though today I have Alipay Hong Kong, WeChat Pay Hong Kong, Alipay China, and WeChat Pay China. Technically, there are 4 independent applications in my phone. I cannot connect them. I cannot move money with ease among them. My dream is to create one wallet in which I can merge all of them. But if such a thing can be realized, I will think further. If the money CNY and EHKD can be maintained in such a wallet, what if the NFTs I bought? What if the security token I invested? What if the electronic version of overseas Chinese yuan can also be maintained? My BTC, my USDT, my Ethereum, all my digital asset can also be maintained in such a wallet. Then I can also maintain the security token. I do believe that in short period of time, in China, there will be another version of security token offering. So there will be a very fantastic business place, here in Hong Kong. So technically, I do believe that it is already ready. They are not ready only because of that regulatory issue. So if we all work together, if the Chinese government is already introducing eCNY, I can realize the first 2. Subsequently, I can have the rest. Then eventually we can add on different types of currencies, different types of security tokens, different types of digital assets into the same wallet. It will be perfect. And while we are talking about moving assets across countries, a lot of traditional bankers, a lot of traditional players, they ignore one thing in the modern era. We focus more on data because there's a saying, data is the new oil. So money is one fact, but oil, new oil, data is another fact. Because in Hong Kong, there are a lot of data flowing through Hong Kong. Unfortunately, we do not have the refining machines, refinement plants to analyze those data. So data is the new oil. So let's talk about oil in the traditional world. New York is the first oil trading market in the world. The second one is London. The third one, don't you know that? Which country or city is in Asia? They are the trading center of oil, which is Singapore, because Singapore has the refinement plants, and also Singapore, the Malacca Channel is the place where the tankers are moving in and out. So Singapore government is so smart. They have the refinement plant, despite the fact that Singapore has no crude oil mining, but they have the facility to refine the oil so that they can ship it to the other countries. So to data is the same. Hong Kong is the place where most financial data is flowing through this city. Unfortunately, all our somewhat like crude oil, since there are no good policies of regulating the use of data, and we are wasting a lot of these, just plowing the crude oil into the sea. So I believe that if we can realize these central bank digital currency transaction in Hong Kong, what will happen is that cash, no registry. We only have a very limited data being stored among the two individuals. If we have using checks, the data all resides in the banks, mostly, and some on the regulator's hand. If we use mobile payment, the data somehow resides in the Octopus, Alipay, PayMe, and the rest. They are also centralized database that the general public and even the government cannot make good use of. My dream is that when the eHKD and eCNY being implemented in the city, we can set multiple sensitivity levels of data. So in which we have open data, general public can read if there's no personal data involved, or they have industrial data that the banks, the credit agency can access with the consents being taken from the end users. Or we have can have a very sensitive data. Talk about AML or criminal related data that only a small number of government body can access to. My dream is to realize such a digital infrastructure to administer data so that the true new oil can be created and monetized in Hong Kong. I skipped this one due to time. So the traditional way of move money, I captured this from a study from our Hong Kong Foundation. If there's a company in Thailand, they want to move money to a company in Hong Kong, you might see that we are using correspondent banking model. 1 bank, 2 banks, 3 banks, 4 banks is time consuming, and each bank capture a portion of the money as their commission. It is not the ideal model. So we want, if Hong Kong is using eCNY, for example, if the money is flow through a company in China to a company in, for example, Thailand, it will flow through the same system. The money will flow through, within minutes. If the country, for example, Japan, is not within the ally, Hong Kong can be the intermediate party. Only one party, 1 bank in Hong Kong can move the money from China to Japan with ease. And also, we talk about digital asset. So if there's a lot of traditional asset being tokenized, being transformed into digital assets, what will happen? Digital asset can be transacted 7 days in a week, 24 hours in a day. So digital asset will not be restricted by the exchange, where they only operate maybe 6 hours a day, 8 hours a day maximum. So if there are more digital assets, we need a asset class called digital money to match with this transactional behavior or the attribute of the digital asset. So I think in the near future, we only need a exchange where we list the price, for the buyer and the seller, and the smart contract being introduced will take care of the transactional automatically. So without a stable coin, a legitimate stable coin on one end, the digital asset where we are going to trade actively will be restricted, by such a digital exchange currently being used, in most of the countries. For example, Binance being sued by the SEC. So everybody afraid that Binance will collapse. So I do not trust, this traditional money. Or, if you are using USDC, and then all of a sudden Silicon Valley Bank almost went bankrupt. So Silicon Valley banks holds a great amount of money being deposited by a Circle, the issuing party of USDC. So in such a case, I don't like it. I feel unease. So I believe that Hong Kong will be the preferred place for us to do the transaction. I skip this one because HKMA 2-3 years back, I think 2.5 years back, has already published. I think it's January of 2001. Is it 2001 or 2020? They already 2022. This is the new discussion paper, and then early this year we have the conclusion of this stablecoin discussion. Talk about how HKMA will regulate stablecoins. So I invented, this is me in my class in the City University EMBA, the ED of HKMA, Kara Chen, talked to our learning partners about how Hong Kong will regulate stablecoins, and also invited this innovation hub, Ms. Benedict Lowlands, into the same conference, but talk about how BIS is doing a proof of concept for Hong Kong government. So from where I learned that Hong Kong dollar has a uniqueness. Since 1940, Hong Kong dollar issued their money in a very funny way. You might not be aware that Hong Kong dollar isn't introduced by the Hong Kong government. Of course, government of Hong Kong issue $1. So the small amount of money are maintained by the Hong Kong government, okay, HKMA. But if you have a time to read the Hong Kong banknotes, you will be aware that the $50, the $100 banknotes, they are all issued by HSBC, Standard Chartered Bank, and the Bank of China. So it is a fiat currency that is not, unlike US dollar, they are fiat. So QE, under QE, they can print as many money as they like. Hong Kong dollar cannot. The bank, the money issuing bank must keep the same amount of Hong Kong dollar in the very secured asset, particularly in US, because Hong Kong dollar is packed with US dollar, $1 equivalent to 7.8 Hong Kong dollar. So the asset being kept by the banks, they are mostly in a maybe the US government bond manner. If it is the case, for the past 40 years, since 1983, the traditional form of Hong Kong dollar is already the stable coin. But the stable coin is only in a traditional tokenized manner. If Hong Kong government realize the EHKD, it will be a stable coin, which is programmable, which is can be use a smart contract to transact. So I do believe that it will be the preferred stable coin, unlike USDC, USDT. You know, they are issued by a company. EHKD is a stable coin issued by the bank, and the bank HSBC and Standard Chartered Bank, they are British bank. They are not Hong Kong local banks. So with this nature, you are going to have the interest of a digital token, which is backed by not only Hong Kong, not only China, but also UK. There's one piece of news. Sorry, it's in Chinese. And this news is talk about Octopus is issuing a card in China, so where they can use Octopus to do transport. You know, you just tap on the machine in China to pay the fare for your transportation. So I will keep asking myself at that moment, why Octopus is going to do such a silly thing? Because in China, everybody are using Alipay, WeChat Pay, Union Pay. It's already there, and you have no advantage over these big brothers in China. But if I think deep, I find that there's an advantage, because if you are not Chinese, mainland Chinese, if you are from America, if you are from India, you will have a problem. If you happen to travel to Shenzhen, you do not have that version of Alipay. How can you move around? So if you just buy or just download the Octopus from Hong Kong, and if you can have a onboarding process went through in Hong Kong under this common law, and you can use this Octopus to move around in China freely. So I believe that, you know, these Octopus is quite smart. So they understand this advantage. So if it is the case, we can skip this one. This is how the references you can get from EHKD, the Hong Kong HKMA. They launched it with the 16 proof of concept already, with a lot of banks to do this process. All the money issuing banks plus even New World, they are running this proof of concept to do EHKD. I think in 2-3 years time, we might have this digital version, a tokenized version of Hong Kong dollar being used, you know, by you and me. So the free rail implementation, in which the first one is the infrastructure, legal front and the technology front. The first one, where the HKMA will do it on their own. Rail 2 is by the general public, mainly the banks and the sizable company. They are trying to study the pros and cons before they really roll out something. This time, Hong Kong HKMA plays smart by getting these tests from the market first. Then they have the rail free to combine the two and launch it out. So you can see the Hong Kong government is quite determined, and I can see why they are determined, because the new role of EHKD will be quite different from the old one. The old one is internally, we use it in Hong Kong. I think the new EHKD might benefit the whole world if we are doing Web3 digital assets, and we are serving the whole world, particularly for China, to deal with their friendly countries. So this is the last two slides. Hong Kong government keeps saying that Hong Kong is the super connector among or between the East and the West. But the East and the West, they have conflict. So it's not easy to do the same job anymore. I believe that Hong Kong will be the super connector, firstly as the GBA integration. And the GBA has two worlds, the virtual version of GBA country cities and the real version of the GBA cities. So we are connecting the real world to the virtual world via the real money to the virtual money, the real asset to the virtual asset. Subsequently, Hong Kong will be the place where the real world and the digital world intersect. And because we intersect in Hong Kong, intersect in the GBA, the other countries, they can use this as a vehicle. Then Hong Kong will be the future's superconnector, particularly with the electronic version of Hong Kong dollar, which is halfly tokenized, halfly distributed, decentralized, but halfly centralized, maintained. The wallets they are centralizedly maintained. The AML process are centralizedly maintained. So we are definitely the super connector between the real world and the virtual world. So Hong Kong must be this heavy pick, because Hong Kong in the past, because the wind is quite strong, because Hong Kong was the only city helping the whole China to transact, most of the trading. But China is opening up, so the wind is again lesser and lesser. And now, because of conflict between the East and the West, I do believe that Hong Kong is losing the edge on the traditional transactions. But we need a new wind. The new wind is the Web3 wind. The new wind is digital wind. So if we can glide to the new windy spot, Hong Kong can maintain this competitiveness. Otherwise, Hong Kong will the pick, flying high without the wind, without the winds. Hong Kong will fall down and hurt itself. Okay, so we got to glide to the new windy spot as fast as we can. And I do believe that you from PolyU, or you understand this situation, and you might be interested in coming to Hong Kong and stay in Hong Kong to realize what I just described. So Q&A version time. Sorry, a little bit overrun. Any question? Hello? Yes. You might type if you are not comfortable. Who will be the first one? You might just ask whatever interested. You may not be within this EHKD or electronic money, anything regarding to fintech, or even your career, or even about the development of Web3, digital, the tokenized world. You might ask.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Jack, and and on behalf of PolyHack DSC and Daniel, thanks for your coming and deliver such an insightful speech. And just want to ask, like, how do you think banks should position themselves in this, like, the big wave or the big trends in of GD sorry, of the
CBDC.
CBDC? Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, there's a book called Bank 2.0. Until now, there's Bank 4.0, 5.0 by Mr. Brad King. We'll talk about the future of banking. So bank is no longer where you go. Banking is something what you do. So banks are everywhere in the future. We're moving money around. We do not need a bank because bank is an intermediate party. For sure, the traditional banking will die out. Not die out, but be decentralized. So the activity will not go through the banks. But bank is a trust party. So we need the bank still, because I do not know my counterparty's background. I need a bank, like issue an LC. Then I need a bank. So the bank has to transform themselves from the traditional business to a new business. The banks are transforming. Some banks, they are like investment bank. They are not the traditional bank, safe, keep your asset. They're investors. They are helping you to invest. So the bank, I do believe that in the next 5 years, they have to get rid of a lot of these very expensive or heavy, costly equipment or workforce. Otherwise, that they will lose their competitiveness. And workers in the bank. I'm training banks for 10 years for these 10 years. I keep training them from time to time. A lot of sizable bank in China, in Hong Kong. What I just shared with you in the past 1.5 years, half an hours, the contents are the content I share with them. So the banks are still be there, but most of the activities they are doing will be displaced, diminished, and they must transform as fast as they can.
Thanks for answer response. Thank you.
Any other questions? Please feel free.
Right. Well, if any of the participants, oh, we got one here. Do you think the digital divide is hindering the fintech development?
Yes or no? It depends in which country. For example, put China into because digital payment in China is quite common, right? So it will create a digital divide for those elderly people. If they do not know how to use a phone, they will suffer, right? So on one hand, if we are focusing on helping the general public to embrace technology, the digital divide will be getting wider and wider. So we have to look for solutions, like what I show to you, that the card, the keychain form of digital wallet. So the government or the players, they will try their very best to narrow down that divide by technology. On the other hand, in China, we might be quite familiar with their cities, where they are quite technology advanced to payment. But if we go to the inland of China, you will find that there are not many banks around. So those people in the rural area, they will suffer, and the people along the coastline will have a benefit. So digital money, CBDC, in such a case, will benefit those people in the rural area, because they can do their transaction without the banks, right? So pros and cons, it depends on how you look into it. Of course, there are somehow some people suffer in the same country. But I think for the introduction of CBDC in China, the gain is more than the loss. Easily, you can tell. in the inland part of China, they can do easy banking. Not only banking, they can do electronic financing, and more people can benefit from it, right? So I think I hope you can see the full picture before making your own decision. So, but it's a very good question. Thanks.
And we got another one. As Hong Kong Digital Exchange Center is official platform for exchanging cryptocurrency, how's your insight on this platform on bridging the virtual economy and the real economy?
Yeah, and a good question. Personally, I'm not that optimistic, for the Hong Kong exchange to do the same level of the unregulated type of transaction so soon. Okay, even though Hong Kong government officials stand up saying loudly that they are embracing the Web3 or digital currency, but for many study I carry out that they have no chance to roll out a sizable transaction which is equivalent to what happening into the old Hong Kong. So in such a case, they will do baby steps, but it's a good moving ahead. So to answer your questions, before the Hong Kong government step big to accept different types of digital assets, or they find a way how to regulate the transactions of those digital assets, I don't think the activity will be the impact will be quite big. But by the time EHKD is launched, maybe 3 years time, maybe 5 years time, I think those regulations on the other side, based on the MiCA, the market in crypto assets, the new regime to regulate digital currency in Europe, it's just announced, and then it will be implemented maybe in a year time. So the practices will be carried out in Europe. Then Hong Kong might just follow. Okay, so the timing is quite in such a case when MiCA is rolled out. America, now they are talking about how to regulate it. They want to sue those largest companies, exchanges. Then when the dust settle down, then maybe 3 years time, then Hong Kong has one weapon, which is EHKD, because the fiat currency is being tokenized also. So then we will be the pioneer on how to do the transaction without the traditional exchanges. Okay, so I'm optimistic, and then the timing is quite right. And then keep an eye on how the European regulators are regulating the digital asset transaction. So that's a new one.
I received another question by Cecilia. Hi, Dr. Chan. It seems that most of the Web 3.0 projects are more focusing on issuing their own cryptocurrencies rather than building innovative works. Is it a way to keep their communities active and make profits? But it is a way to keep their communities active. And
Good question.
Is it sustainable?
Absolutely right. They just want to raise fund. They issue, in the past, I was there, in 2017-18, I was there, already there to help people to raise fund. A project called Panther, and the project died out because the project was too humble. They really want to raise fund and do something for real. So that's why I was there. But because there are too many hanky-panky projects around, and then they overshadow us, and then at the end of the day, those bad guy earn a lot of money, and then the real player, they suffer. because we failed to survive the downturn of Ethereum, and all our assets are in the form of Ethereum. We can't pay out the salary in such a form case. So now, because people learn a lesson, and people now because we have the MiCA in European countries, and then we have the Hong Kong very cautiously embracing the technology and DeFi. So I don't think those fundraising projects can be there without really demonstrating they have the gut, they have the muscles, they have the proof of concepts, they have the tractions anymore. In the past, you only have to write a nice white paper, then you can raise a lot of money. In the past, you just have a funny project called the Dogecoin. I worth nothing, but because the big brother bought it, again, and people gamble on it. So I don't think the investors are so silly anymore. In the future, I just joined a project called IOST. It is a layer 1 chain without IPO, and it's a project there for already 6 years, listed in Binance, OKX. It's there already. But because it's, as I mentioned, it's quite humble, too humble, and then there's no IPO. Come on, the IPO like EOS, they go all the way there. So this kind of project might have a chance because it's no high gas fee, and it's because it's no IPO, then it will be overpriced. Then those projects will do a showcase to the subsequent new players. So when they come in, so they will just learn from the pioneer that how to convince the general public, not only the general public, but also the regulators. So if it's regulated in Hong Kong, and if there's doing a STO in Hong Kong at the moment is not for general public, it's for professional investors only. So if it is for professional investors won't be so emotional to invest in something by just follow the crowd. So I think the first step is the professional investors get into the picture, and then we have the security token offering first. Then maybe when EHKD is in the picture, and the other countries, they also have their own version of a digital form of fiat currency. Then the general public, particularly in Europe, then they will have a new practice. So when there's a new practice, what will come is the project is not only to raise fund. The project will issue the coin, and the coin will track the monetization process. So if it is traceable, trackable, then as an early stage investor, I can see whether my money is well spent. Then if those is traceable, I can apply AI, and then the robo-advisory will look into those transactions. Then they will convince the subsequent investor to invest into those real projects. You know what I mean? So at the moment, we only use a very small fraction of the tokenization or the blockchain technology. So I'm also working with some projects. They have this attribute to disclose the real transaction or the ownership or the relationship of the investment or the value distribution. So pay attention more on those projects that come with those projects where they come with a mechanism on disclosure, and with this disclosure, we can use AI, but not an emotional and analytics, to invest. All right, then I can see another one, right? No, that's the last question.
think that's it.
Okay.
I'd like to ask a question of my own, if you don't mind.
Please.
So in the last few years, we've had a lot of very quick innovations and hype cycles around technologies like blockchain, AI, metaverse, VR. Now AR is coming with Apple too. So, and we see all those things, they come up, and a lot of them will create a lot of companies around that will die out like within a year or two of the hype cycle. A lot of us right now are going to be graduating next year, and so they're looking for jobs. And I wanted to know if they're interested into fintech and new technologies. Do you have any advice on kind of where to start in terms of getting a job, and if you know any kind of red flags when they're getting recruited by a company to look out for?
Good question. Because during the hype, for those junior programmer, as long as they can demonstrate it, that they can do smart contract programming, they can easily find a job, 30,000-40,000 honky per month, easily, because there's shortage of supply. But I don't think they can, such kind of situation can last, because luckily they are the small group of people. Is somewhat like they won a lucky draw. Lucky draw cannot be won all the time. What we need at the moment is a group of programmers or technology practitioner. They have a quick learning skill. They can learn fast, and they can apply what they learned from one platform to the other platform, from one knowledge base to the other knowledge base. So as I deliberately use, remember, how I introduced myself? I was a golf player, I have a tennis player, I have a musician, a photographer, here and there. And if you manage to be a practitioner in one area, so don't settle down or don't being satisfied with only one set of skills. So I think in the upcoming months or years, try to learn multiple set of skills and spread your knowledge. So for those group of people, they might be have a higher chance to be accepted by these fast-growing nature of development. Okay, so you don't limit yourself on technology. You might be a lawyer, you might be a presenter, good speaker. You might be, as long as there are the skill set that you like, you must be a good performer. Don't limit yourself on programming only.
All right. I think that will be it then, because I don't see any other new questions, and we've overrun quite a bit. So I'm going to conclude this right now. Thank you again very much for coming to teach us all of this. For those who want to check the recording after, I'll be editing the video and posting it on YouTube very soon, so you'll be able to check all of this. If you guys have any questions or you want any support, we're always available on our Discord server, and we'll forward any question specific that you have to Dr. Chan. If that's all for all of you, this is the end of this workshop, and thank you very much for attending.
Hello.
Hey, hello. You there, Donna? One last question.
Yes, sir. The question, the theme was that how to improve the speed of the transaction in the international transaction. So how can I solve how the speed can be increased in case of international transaction?
Can you repeat what kind of internet transaction you mentioned about?
Like currency converting, like it takes 2 to 3 days to transact the money from one country to another.
Oh, okay. So at the moment, I think you have to understand that because the bank in India, for example, doesn't know the bank in Taiwan. So they need intermediate bank. So they just find friends. Please pass the money to the end, and then usually your friends don't know immediately, you know, because the friends are far away in the country. So you just give the money to somebody, and then it is a piggyback, or they just hand the money to the intermediate party. So usually it's expensive and slow and problematic sometimes if you write your friend's address wrongly. So in the internet, everybody is a node. Everybody has the one wallet. They are in one level. So as long as you give the address or the public key properly, and you identify that key, you don't need any intermediate party. So you just press the button, and then the money will go on the fly. You see there's a difference, because the old system relying on the intermediate party, and the new system has no intermediate party. So to answer your question, you know, easily, is that we do not need the banks. So if there's no bank, it will be much faster. All right. I hope I can answer your question.
Right.
Okay, sorry. So
no, perfect.
close
Thank you very
again.
much.
Yeah.